Everybody, instead of me leading today, meet my good friend John Quarles. He's at Brown Palace in Denver. I'm going to let him lead this morning. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Alan. How are you today?
Doing good. I said before we started taping, I'm telling our listeners now that I put this background on specifically because John's up in the mountains in Denver, and I'm down in Palm Springs, and it's 112 degrees today. So.
And a beautiful 75 here.
Oh, God, enjoy it. All right, did you open last week then? Or you're opening soon? What was that?
We opened on Saturday the 9th, so I'm a little over 2 weeks in right now.
Got it. And what's that been like opening? Obviously, new protocols, new cleansing. Give us a quick rundown on everything.
Certainly. The reality, we all know the before and afters of our services have changed immensely. Unless you would like, I can hop into the specifics on there, but I know we've all been talking about them here a lot recently. And we apply them, of course, to our own facilities so that we can make sure we're doing it right in our walls. But the question is, how's it been? It's been stressful. I won't say that it hasn't. It's a lot of changes. It's getting people organized, trained, keeping them on their schedules for what they're supposed to be doing so that we can do this right. But at the same time, it has been overwhelmingly positive. The guest experience, while I've always been the people person in the group, the guest experience has absolutely tripled in level of just excitement on their end, their appreciation that we're here, the fact that, hey, we're still in this industry. It's always been a giving industry. People want that right now more than ever, and they're excited when they hit our door. They're excited to see the changes that have happened. Hey, people complain they have to wear a mask the entire service. That's understandable. It's where we're at. But it's amazing as I see these people come through the door. They're excited to be here. I see them as they leave, and I flat out ask, how was it? And every single time, it has been over the top. It's really been amazing just to see how wonderful people are.
John, that's so good to hear because we're an experiential business, right? So we better be delivering on that level. And I told a few friends of mine who said, God, you think it's safe to go out to the spa? I said, it's probably cleaner now than ever before. So I think it's a perfect time to go back to the spot. Did you furlough your staff or were they unemployed or what was the setup there?
Yeah, unfortunately, so we are associated with the Brown Palace Hotel, about 300 employees total with the property. Mine was about 35 total in the spa department. Unfortunately, almost all 300 people were furloughed. HR director, general manager, a couple of people stayed on, obviously, to secure the building. Engineering, I will say, has been working feverishly while we've been closed, so our facility looks even better. I love that aspect. But yeah, so my entire team, and unfortunately the mass majority of the hotel was furloughed.
Right. Do you, you've now, everyone's back on a schedule. Has everyone come back to work? Did some people say, I'm not ready to work?
Yeah, good question. So we, of course, typically do a 7-day-a-week business. We're only running 5 days a week currently on a modified schedule, on a 10 to 6 schedule. So we've definitely lost some of those service hours. I did just get the exciting announcement that the Brown Palace is going to reopen on June 10th. We did hammer that down this morning. I mean, just an hour ago I heard this.
Exciting.
So June 10th is our hard date for opening the hotel. And so as I talked to staff, I just started working straight down my list, calling everybody to really find out what their position was. And this would have been toward the beginning of May. I know most of us stay in at least loose contact with our staff, so I had a feeling of where people were. But as I actually got the one-on-one conversations happening, I had people that were excited, maybe even too excited to come back to work a little. I had the people that were definitely a little more hesitant, and said, hey, call me in a week, call me in 2. I had people that flat out were call me in a month. And I actually have 1 or 2 people that still contemplate whether they'll step back into that treatment room or not.
John, do you think Does any of that relate to the unemployment bonus money, do you think? Or, yeah, no, yeah.
You know, of the people that said, hey, I'm not interested now, it was a direct split between people with just honest concern about getting back in the treatment room and with viruses and whatnot in general. You know, they just have a high level of concern for it, and understandably. The other half were very happy with the checks that were coming through their door, and for no other better way to say it, being able to make money while staying at home always sounds and feels good. But I will say only in the short term. You know, we'd like to get rewarded for our efforts, and we'd like to get praised for our efforts, and eventually getting money for doing nothing or for staying home. It doesn't feel good inside. It does wind up wearing on you because you don't feel the production aspect.
John, with 40 million people unemployed, I would be the first guy to get my butt back to work. So I clearly don't understand the because the stay-at-home thing's going to end anyways, and then you might be, we don't know. But anyways, John, talk to me about retail. Did you stock up the front of the house, or what was the process there?
You know, what I will say is things changed every day before we opened. Things change every day now that we're open. Before we opened, I went back and forth on retail. Multiple phone calls as we've all been on. At one point, I wasn't going to put any retail on my shelves just to have the aspect of not touching items, because of course one of our aspects is take away the touch points.
Right.
You know, as I thought about it more, and as I continued to go to the grocery store and go out and do some things just for necessity of life, the shelves at the grocery store are packed with items. Why can't I have some retail on my shelves? I did modify it. I went 3 deep maximum on all of my retail, even my hot moving items. You know, I wanted my shelves to look nice, look clean, look like they actually had product on them, but do it in as safe a way as possible. We specifically are trying to pull the retail product off the shelf for the guest, wipe it down, and then put it in their bag. Of course, sometimes you get some happy grabbers that just grab things, but you know, we've tried to keep it so that we can maintain as few touches on that guest aspect as possible.
Okay. I'm glad you put it back on your shelf. I've done a half dozen or more of these reopening videos already, and one of the things people say is they're having a hard time all of a sudden keeping retail in stock. So I'm glad to hear that. Talk to me about your treatment menu. Have you slimmed it down? Did you remove treatments? Have you raised the price? Any of that stuff?
Again, we opened on Saturday the 9th. I was notified on that Monday, I believe that was the 4th. To get the doors open, in my opinion, correctly and safely, I ultimately just ripped our menu apart. We went to 55-minute only massages in a Swedish deep tissue, signature, and CBD format. We book those as an hour and 15-minute service, so we have a 20-minute turn time on there. That is a change from a 50-10 setup that we used to do. Yep. And so it definitely has limited the number of people we can get through our door just with the longer turns on there. On the pricing aspect, I have no anticipation of doing any lowering of pricing. A few little discounts, but they're really just kind of my standard discounts. Hey, get an express manicure with a cut color or something like that. I am actually looking at raising prices, but I am looking at doing that by repackaging what we do also. You know, as you mentioned, we are an experiential business. We've lost that. Hey, my steam room, I don't know when I'm ever going to see my steam room work again. My locker room is currently shut down off of regulations. And, you know, our experience aspect, you know, outside of the hands-on part has definitely gone away. I have lots of different ideas of how I would like to see us rebuild that. But I think it's going to be packaged more of a more experience in the facility, where instead people just went in the locker room and hung out and had their champagne, hit the steam room. Now we're looking at podding things, making little pods where I'm looking at moving forward toward IV trips, detox services, oxygen services, but things that I can utilize that square footage for financial gain instead of just sitting there doing nothing for me now.
Yeah, just curious, do you have a salt room?
I do not have a salt room, but I am looking.
Yeah, I'll bet that would be that's something. Well, I know the couple salt vendors in the U.S., but I do some work with Salt Chamber, Leo Tonkin, but he he can't get out of his way. They are so busy. It is ridiculous on repurposing a lot of these rooms because it can be a very individual experience while they're doing it. John, how are you talking to your clientele? By email? Did you guys mail anything? What are you doing for your regulars that are coming back or you're trying to get a hold of?
Good question. I will say our regulars were kind of in the same boat as staff. We had people that were beating on our door, and we had people that loved to see us, but they'd love to see us in a few weeks. I went with, let me back that up one step. My biggest aspect for opening our doors was strictly to build the guest confidence and the staff confidence. The financial will come. I'm not worried about that. I can already see the movement on our booking. And so I decided I wanted to go with as personal an approach as possible. And we literally made 500 phone calls to our regular guests and said, hey, we are open. We're excited to see you. Can we get you on the books here? And you know what? Almost all of them took us up on it, some for that day and some for a month away. But they were excited to have us open. They were excited to come back and see us again.
Yeah. Do you know, you said to me the phone, is that something that looks like this? Like, does everyone actually know what this thing is here on my desk?
My staff doesn't.
I'm glad you got on the telephone because what was old is new again. And this is still a very personal business, and living on email and text is not the answer with our clientele if we want to keep them as our clientele. Two final questions. Do you guys have a membership program, and what have you done about it if you do?
We don't have a membership program specifically for the spa. We do have a hotel membership program with our Churchill Cigar Lounge, includes spa, includes our club as well. But it is more a item for those members of the entire hotel, not just of the spa. And what we've done is nothing other than to reach out, shake their hand, and say, come see us.
And I'm one who fancies a cigar on the golf course. Now I have another reason to come up to Denver and see you. So, and my good friends, Chris and Vanessa at CBD Care Garden are in Denver too. So they keep haranguing me to make the visit up there as well. Last question.
I just chatted.
Who'd you talk to?
With Chris the other day.
I love those guys. And by the way, I've taken their product to a number of spas that I travel to, and the minute therapists start using it, they go, what is this? I can feel it in my wrists. I don't know how I live without it. I mean, I rub it on my feet at night. I sleep like a baby. I mean, Chris and Vanessa are doing an unbelievable job. Last question.
Yes, they are.
Cash, credit card, all digital pay, what?
So we have gone, again, as touchless as possible, no cash. I did have a person offer a cash tip the other day. I handed them the envelope and just gave it directly to the staff member. We are taking credit cards at time of booking and telling them this is the card we would like to be charging at time of service. We just confirm up the last 4 digits, of course, at the time they're checking out and charge it directly to that card. It's funny, as we talked about being a touch business, and I've said the word going touchless so much. The touch business aspect isn't going to go away for us.
No.
It is there. I see it already. We are going to incorporate some more touchless items, but I think that's more about creating the better experience. Not to try to just make everything a salt wall or this or that, but making just a great experience all the way around for somebody becomes the important aspect. And spas can do it in so many different ways. You don't have to go drop $50,000 and change everything. You can personalize it as simple as making the phone calls, but making sure you get those high touch points where you can.
John, we're going to end on that note because that is so well said. John Quarles, Brown Palace Spa in Denver, thank you so much for spending time with us today. I really appreciate it. And good luck. Keep rocking the openings.
Allan, hey, thank you very much. And everybody out there, thank you for being part of this industry. It is incredible. And if there's anything I can ever do to help anybody, feel free to reach out.
Thank you.